First of all, I just want to say, I literally tip my hat to you. Thank you for your service. I'll say that up front. I was in Lexington 2017 through 2019 or 20, because I ended up moving to Tulsa. And I was serving as a district mental health specialist in 2019. And I had the opportunity to work in elementary and also middle school. And during that time, I heard about the program, and also heard about B.M.W. From one of my old coworkers in Louisville. So I was already like, yes, it's sparking my interest, and I would definitely like to be involved or, be of service. But so it's good to connect with you right now. Having served African-American males, young males, and particularly from lower socioeconomic groups, the identity of self, the importance of that. And while you're saying the trip to Morehouse, when they got off the bus and they were in a new environment and exposure,
right?
What's the importance of exposure and self-identity, not just as it relates to young males, but also as a society? How far can that push us, especially as far as the Black community?
Well, we have to realize the media does so much to negate our African-American males. The media puts so much negativity out there that we're fighting that. Right. And then you also have to look at the culture, the counterculture of music, how that, what they see there. And then, of course, with athletes, here's what we tell them. Hey, I love basketball, love the NBA, love college ball. But why settle playing for a team when you ought to own the team?
That part.
Well,
right.
And trying to help them to or be the general manager. It's interesting because 2 weeks ago, I had a gentleman who came and did the Power Story, who has a doctorate degree in sports management. He said, I never played sports a day in my life. He said, but here I am. I get to do basketball, football. I get to teach all of he's a professor at a university. I get to do all the sports. I never played, but I'm doing something that I love. And so just them understanding that, you got a little guy who's, he's not going to be any bigger than 5'2", and you want to, go to the NBA. You don't want to kill his dream and his identity of what he wants to do, but you are navigated into a different pattern that he can still do what he loves, have passion with it, and still be successful. And so that exposure can do so much in helping them to understand. And the other piece is getting them out of their environment, showing them there's more to life than just Lexington and the community that you live in. And so, I told you about our first trip to Atlanta. We've been to DC, we've been to Houston. So in 2009, God gave me another vision. He said, you've been all over the United States. It's time you take these boys abroad. I said, now, we talking, that's big money. And he said, you cast a vision, I'll take care of the money. And so in 2009, I went before all of our juniors and seniors and some sophomores. And let me say this, there is an accountability part with B.M.W. You just don't go on these trips. You got to have good grades. Your conduct's got to be in order. And you have good grades, good conduct. And I've got to be able to trust you outside of this environment that we're in on Saturdays and during the week. So you got to show me and be responsible that you get to go on all these trips. And so in 2009, I stood before the high school boys and I said, listen, God has given us, he's ready to expand our territory. He's ready to increase our territory. I said, in 2010, the 25 of you all who have the highest GPA are going to England, France, Germany, and Switzerland with me. And they said, we can't afford that. I ain't never been on a plane. They're going, what? We can't do this. I said, you make the grades. You leave God. You let God and Ms. Akins and Dr. Cleveland, Ms. Bote, we'll take care of the money part. So I had a young man whose mother had drug him in as a 8th or 9th grade, I can't remember. On one Saturday, she brought him in by the ear. And she said, ma'am, she said, my son is being recruited by a gang. She said, I heard about this program. She said, I don't want to lose my son to the streets. Can you please help me? And I said, absolutely. I said, you go leave him here with us and come back and pick him up at 1:00. So he had an attitude. He'd sit there with his arms folded, didn't want to engage or anything. And so at 1:00, she picked him up. I said, bring him back next week. So little by little, he started getting engaged. So he was one of those sitting there that day when I told him we were going to England, France, Germany, and Switzerland. He probably had like a 2.3 grade point average. So he came to me after. He said, are you serious? I said, I'm serious. If you want to go, you got to get those grades together. You got to get that attitude together. You got to show me you want to go. That boy went from a 2.3 to a 3.8. And when the list was done, when the list was put together to go, he was in the 25. And so when we got to Paris and we were at the Eiffel Tower, he's 16 years old and he's just looking up. And he says, I said to him, I said, hey, son, are you going to take the elevator and go to the top? He said, all my life, I've seen this on the television. I've read about it in a book. I never thought at 16 I'd be standing at the base of the Eiffel Tower. He said, go to the top. He said, I'm going further than the top. That boy got a scholarship to the University of Louisville. He has graduated. He's finishing up his master's, and he's in management at a clothing store here in the Kentucky area. And so, and so that, just knowing that, how we have changed, as I said, the drug. So that exposure does so much to help them, first of all, believe in themselves, believe they can get the good grades, believe that they can go places they've never been, believe that they can have a career. They don't have to believe what they see on the television or what they hear in the music. They can be whatever they want to be.
Nothing ever was handed, all about respect, never about ego. Wish I could have retired a long time ago and disappeared way beyond the trees. But my homies kept influencing me, said they needed to hear my lyrics, like my flow, cause they felt my spirit. Plus the people needed to hear it, a conversation with conscientious lyrics.